Hey guys, Novabrush here, and this is an update video on what I plan to do with the channel to answer frequently asked questions, to answer random questions, and some Did You Know facts and stuff I've been working on so far on the channel. Considering that I haven't really used my YouTube account for anything to upload my own, I figured that I was due for an update, so here we go. Okay, so this is just a quick reminder to those who haven't already to follow me on DeviantArt and Tumblr. Reason being is I hardly post on my YouTube account, considering what I work on takes a really long time. And I'm sure some of you who are artists or animators totally get what I mean. It takes a really long time to get this kind of stuff done. So if you're more interested in seeing what's happening, follow me on there. I also live stream my progress on Twitch as well. That's where I get to answer any questions, say hello, and what I do quite often is during my breaks I like to do some quick sketch requests. So if you happen to be there while I'm live streaming and I have a break at the time you're there, I take requests of any character I'm going to draw for you. So yeah, it's worth dropping by, saying hello. And as you can probably tell, I've just uploaded my Mountain King animation after working on it for 3 months now. And I am just overwhelmed by such positive response I've been getting from people. It means so much to me that so many people really like it, and I worked so hard on it, so I'm really happy about that. Yeah, it's just thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I also just hit 70 subscribers, which I reckon is pretty cool considering that in December I started off with 1, and that was me on another channel. So that was really embarrassing, but anyway, that's besides the point. Really happy about that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support because it's really cool to see that people really like what I do. And now that Mountain King is done, I will go back to working on my Fates of Undertale animation, which I started working on initially, which I took a break from after hearing the Undertale musical Mountain King, or I can't actually pronounce it, so I'm not going to go there. But when I heard the voice, I just had to do it. It was amazing. I loved the vocals were just so well spoken. It was just really, really nice to hear, and I just had to do it. So I animated it, and I did, and I like it, and I don't regret it. So yeah, so I'm really happy about that, and I'm happy about a lot of things, aren't I? Anyway, that's probably a good thing. And so as I mentioned, I'll be getting back to my Fates of Undertale video. Considering it's a much larger project, it'll take me quite a bit longer than it would take me to do Mountain King, but not to worry. As I said, I'll be posting updates regularly as I do it, and I stream it as much as I can. And I'm really keen to get back into that because after doing Mountain King, I really feel like I could do a lot better. Don't get me wrong, like I'm really proud of what I've done, and I'm really happy with what I did, but the more I look at it, the more I'm picking at it, the more I'm already seeing the imperfections which I know I can get better on. So now that I know the program's better, I know my process better, and I know the shapes that I like, of the characters to draw better, I can improve in that faster in the next video, and I'm really excited by that. After that, I'll be moving on to a Bendy and Ink Machine animation, which I had plans to do a while ago, but didn't get around to it because I was away on holidays, and I thought I could do it then, but I actually couldn't. So that won't get done until the animation is done, and I'm currently working on a comic book series with my fiance Bitbolt. It's coming along quite nicely, and I'm really excited by that. So once that's all done, I'll move on to Bendy and Ink Machine video. Yeah, he's a really cool guy, really nice and really funny. So he's fantastic to work with and be around. So yeah, that's really nice. What else? Okay, so now we're on to the frequently asked questions and randomly asked questions. Because I get quite a few of these over the last few months, so I figured I'd just kind of throw it all in here in one video. So the first and upmost question that I get the most, and I'm sure if you're an animator as well, or an artist, you get this asked so many times. What program do I use? Well, that's the thing. In regards to Mountain King and Fates of Undertale, I didn't use just one program. I used 5 different programs, actually, to make that happen. My computer hates me for it too, so that's a great thing, right? So the first program I use is Audacity to edit down the audio so that it would be the right length to the animation without altering it from its original form, of course, because why would you want to change the original one? It's amazing. The next program I use is Photoshop CS5. I use that to plan out, sketch out my ideas, draw out the storyboards, and as well as I do detail coloring and editing for still pictures, like whether it's like a prop, for example, like Asgore's trident sort of weapon, or if it's some extra detailing in the background, like for example in the throne room is like the glass windows. I use Photoshop for that to draw them out, plan it out, and color the bricks and all that kind of stuff. The other program I use is Rebelle 2. It's a pretty new program actually, and I absolutely adore it. It is incredible. Funny enough, I am absolutely terrible at using traditional mediums. I cannot paint to save my life, but mostly because there's no undo buttons or there's no layers to work with. It's just the paper and you, and that's it. Rebelle 2 is quite incredible actually because it simulates traditional paints and textures of the paints in real time. So if I was to paint a few strokes of it in watercolor, you can see it bleed through the paper if you increase the amount of water in it or stuff like that. It is amazing. Absolutely adore it. It's like traditional painting without the mess, really. So that's great. And I use that for all the backgrounds I did for these are for all the backgrounds I have been for the animations I've done so far. So that's great. TV Paint Animation Professional 10 is the next one I use to animate just the actual animation part of it. Like I draw out the characters frame by frame, which takes so long. And then I color in the shading and lighting in that. Well, not really lighting, it's like highlights of the lighter parts, highlights of the characters as opposed to actual lighting. And for the final program I use is After Effects CS6. That's what I use for special effects like the lighting and the shadow casting, like light going through the windows. And yes, and what I do is I animate the background first once it's all colored and finished, and then I move the light accordingly, and then after that I render out draft video of that and I import it into TV Paint Animation Professional. Then from there I kind of just color in the shadows accordingly so that it kind of matches sort of thing. And yeah, there's a lot of compositing process to do, but it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. So the next one is, how long did it take to make Mountain King? Well, it took me 3 months to do that, being the only one working on the project, while also balancing life things such as working on the comic book series, as I mentioned, with my fiance, Bitbolt, personal commitments, and also the Fates of Undertale animation as well. Yeah, that's how long it took me. Hopefully I'll be able to pick up the pace a bit more and post more things, and which I'm planning to do, so hopefully they'll go to plan. Another question is, will you be animating more of Mountain King? At this stage, it's kind of unlikely as I'm already committed to animating the large project as I keep talking about, the other animation I'm working on, which is going to be the whole song of Fates of Undertale. That's 3 minutes. And consider I'm already committed to that, and it took me 3 months to do 30 seconds of Mountain King. Yeah, I don't know, I'm pretty sure the song goes for about 6 minutes, and that's a big song. At this stage, no, I won't be, but later on I may decide to revisit the project and expand it from there, because I tend to do that a lot with my other artworks. Next question is, when do I do streams? This is what I get a lot of questions for in DA about. I don't really have set times or days when I do my streams, but I do my best to stream weekly. On a weekday, because I'm from Australia, you see, so I'm in Australian Eastern Standard Time, I guess, kind of figure out how that would match up with your time zone, I guess. And if I choose to animate on a weekday, I tend to stream sometime between 6 p.m. and 12 a.m. On a weekend, I'm likely to stream sometime between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. or between 6 p.m. and 3 a.m. And my streams only often last between 1 to 4 hours, but usually averages 1 to 2 because, well, it really depends on how much time I have on the day, really, so who knows. So my next question is, why do you currently do sketch requests in your streams? Well, as I mentioned earlier in the video, it's just a small way to say thank you to those who have taken the time to drop by, say hello, and watch my progress and ask questions. It's a big deal where I'm able to share this with everybody who also has a love for Undertale. Another question is, will you be doing other animation projects besides Undertale related ones? Yes, definitely. At the moment I'm just obsessed with it still, even though it's 2 years since it's been released. As I mentioned before, it's going to be, one of them will be the Bendy rap animation, and I've got a personal animation project I've locked up on the side, and possibly anything else I become obsessed with in the future. So stay tuned, it's not just going to be Undertale, but for now it will be Undertale. Do you only animate to fan-made songs? Currently what I'm doing at the moment, yeah, but I do have plans to expand that in the future. My next question is, do you like Undertale? Well, yeah, I'm obsessed with it, hey. Who is your favorite Undertale character? They'll be Undyne and Flowey. I adore them both to bit. Now for the Did You Know section before I close off the video. For example, Fates of Undertale and Mountain King are my first frame-by-frame 2D animation projects I've ever done. In the past, I have done some animation works during university and high school, but they were just 2D puppeting or 3D animations. I'd never done frame-by-frame before. I absolutely hated it. It looked terrible, and you will never see any of that kind of stuff from me because that is disgusting. So after a while, like, I've really been wanting to do a project that I'm really proud of, and that's when I decided to take up TV Paint and just do frame by frame. I only had the courage to revisit that in December last year, so it's a good start from here and go up from there. Another thing is I am self-taught with TV Paint and Rebel 2. I just picked up the program and just kind of went with it. It's not really that hard to learn, considering that in the past I have used Flash and I have used Photoshop, so it's not really that difficult to transit between the programs. The throne room scene in Mountain King was a lot of fun times. I had a really bad time with that. Because of all the effects I had going in that to make it look really pretty, I had to re-render that 16 times until I got it right. I had a lot of errors where it would come up with like big blocks of black triangles. I have no idea why it does that. So I had to manually move it out of the way so it can't be seen. Yeah, that was a pain. But in the end, I was so happy to get it done. I guess, like, you know, you try first 2 times and then it's not third time's a charm, it's 16 times a charm to do that. I often also had to recolor and delete little bits of extra color that were outside the lines by accident in TV Paint, so I had to re-render that too a few times. That was fun. My Mountain King video has 707 frames. For those who are not familiar with frames in animation, that means drawing every scene 707 times. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? But the good thing behind that is I don't have to do the background redrawn 707 times because I can just plop it in there and that stretches out for a number of frames. Fates of Undertale, which goes for 3 minutes, has 4,572 frames. That's 4,572 drawing. That's why it's taking so bloody long. Such a long progress, but I absolutely love it. And that working file as well, like the file I work with itself, is over a gig, and that's an outdated file. It's only a quarter finished in that file. It's now a third finished, which is great, but with that file size, it's only a quarter finished, and it's just like, oh god, my computer hates me so much when I do that. I'm trying to save up for a new computer so they can handle the workload I'm doing now. When I rendered the throne room scene, my computer just like started screaming at me, and I'm just like, oh god, please don't die me. The amount of times it's crashed on me is ridiculous, so I'm just like an impulsive saver. I just constantly save the projects over and over. But yeah, so that's the end of my video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it and listen to it. If you have any more questions, please do ask. I'm happy to answer them. As I said before, if you haven't followed me on DeviantArt, Tumblr, or Twitch, I do encourage you to, because that's where I can post updates there more often and you can see what's happening. Thanks guys, have a great day. Bye!